Hey, this is Mike and welcome to DestinyGuitar.com, and today we'll be talking about the B chord. Now the B is not really that easy of a good chord to play, but don't be fearful because once you practice it and you will master it.
Yeah.
In the chord books when I was growing up, I found a B chord and it showed playing 3 fingers kind of crammed together like this and then barring behind here. And, it's possible to play the B that way. That's fine, I guess. And, maybe if you've got really small fingers and you can get all your fingers in that space, that's cool. I'll tell you, when I'm playing a chord progression that includes a B, playing the B with that particular fingering is very difficult for me. And so I had to find a different way to play it. And so let's go right to the close-up and I'll show you that alternate way to play the B chord. Okay, here we go. We have a B chord and I'm going to show you how to sort of double bar it, if you will. And the way that you do that is to start with your first finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. Now the B is a 5-string chord, which means we will not be playing this bottom 6th string in order to play this chord. So we start with our finger fretting the 2nd fret of this 5th string, and then you take your 3rd finger and you place it on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. And this gets you started. As a matter of fact, that is a B power chord, is what it's called in rock music. And if you just play those two together, you have a B power chord. Power chords are missing one of the notes in a major chord, but they sound nice and strong. So if you just played those two, you'd have a B5. It'd be a B power chord. But we want to play a full B chord, which sounds good when we're strumming. And so you're going to lay this finger down right here, and it's going to fret 3 strings. Now, don't get too intimidated by that. It is possible to do it. And just with some practice and after your hand has strengthened up some, you'll be able to do this really flawlessly at some point. So this finger lays down across the 3rd string 4th fret and the 2nd string 4th fret. So I have 4 notes now being played. Now if I want to, I can rock this finger up if possible, in sort of freeing up this top note. And if I were to do that, I'd want to also bar across and play that with this part of my finger. It's not exactly easy, but it is possible. It does require a lot of hand strength to pull that off. Okay. So I did promise you an easy way to play the B, and I'll show you how to do that. It's a variation on the B chord. It's not a perfect B, but it utilizes 4 strings and a little bit easier hand position. And what we do is we'll take our first finger and we'll place it on the 2nd fret, just like we started that last one. And then we'll take our 3rd finger and place it on the 4th fret of the 4th string. And take your pinky here, this 4th finger, and we will put it on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. And then we're going to leave this B, or this string right here, open. And we will not play that E because that would be a different chord. And so by doing that, I have this. Now that is what's considered technically a B5. And that means that we don't have the 3rd in the chord. But if I'm using the B as a passing chord in a chord progression, that's a very helpful way to play it. As a matter of fact, in one of our other videos, I show you how to utilize this chord form and some other variations on some classic positioning in order to create very easy ways to play songs. And so I can strum across these chords and use this position as a B. So you can see how I've incorporated that form of a B into a chord progression I did in fact strum right across that open E, but it worked for the type of sound I was looking for. Which really brings up a good point. There are no real rules in playing the guitar. It's what sounds good to you, and if it's working with the instrumentalist that you're playing with, or it's working with the singing that's happening along with what you're playing, then yeah, go right ahead and play it. But in order to get that third in here, we do have to play this note right here. So in the B, we have a B being played right here. And then we have an F sharp played right here. And then we have a doubled B. And then we have a D sharp right here. That's that third that I was telling you about that's so important to voicing the complete B major chord. And then if we were to play this top note right here, it would be another F sharp. There is another way to play the B chord, and it's by playing those three notes there and then just fretting that top one and only playing the top 4 strings on the guitar. Now I'll tell you, I don't personally like this chord because your B then is not rooted in B. In other words, the bottom note is not a B, the bottom note is now an F sharp, and I don't really care for how that sounds. Sounds a little bit weak, doesn't sound correct. And a B is a nice strong chord. And so I like to have it rooted on the B. Alright, that's a lot of information on the B chord, and I knew I was going to throw a lot at you, different chord shapes, different chord positions. So, just rewind this video, go back, pause it, look at exactly where I've placed my fingers, look at the chord charts that are accompanying this, and learn how to play that B chord. The B chord is not really that easy. There are other places to play the B chord on the neck, but those would get into other bar chords. So look up our videos on destinyguitar.com on how to play bar chords, and then you will see other ways to play the B. But for now, pick one of those options that I provided, learn how to play the B chord, properly, if you will, and then see if that B5 variation will work for you.